The world feels a bit toxic and blah these days, doesn't it? The same old people coming up with the same old solutions for big problems that still don't work. We need to change the game. Well, welcome to Women Advancing. Join me, host Kate Byrne, in this dynamic bi-weekly podcast, bringing together female founders, funders, and thought leaders. Listen to the people driving change, how they got there, how you can help, and yep, how you might just be the next one to advance. Proof that all ships rise with women at the helm. That's what happens when Women Advance with Kate Byrne. Hey everyone, it's your host Kate Byrne with Women Advancing. I'm doing a little thematic thing, which is a little bit different right now. And I'm focusing my conversations on women who are in their own right, powerful business betties and corporate connies who are changing the way that business as we know it is being done. Simultaneously, they're helping create and power nonprofits that are helping those who are coming up behind us. That's right, our girls. So today's conversation, we're going to take a little look in kind of an unexpected realm. Because I bet when you hear NFL, you probably think of touchdowns, contracts, and highlight reels. But behind the scenes, there's another powerhouse shaping community, philanthropy, and leadership. No shock, it's the women. And at the center of our story is our guest today, Tenisha Patterson Brown. And she's the president of the Off the Field NFL Wives Association. She's also corporate counsel, business strategist, and brand builder, and a very successful one at that. Tenisha's leadership spans multiple worlds, from boardrooms to locker rooms, from fashion runways to philanthropic frontlines. And through her legal and business consultancy, she's helping players and their families get ready for the future. Under her presidency, Off the Field has become more than a support network, but it's a platform for sisterhood, visibility, and impact. Sure, it's known for its charity fashion show, but even more so now, building ever more quickly, is its advocacy for girls, families, and communities across the country through such creations as a girls' flag football leagues, scholarships, and internships. It's really astonishing all that they're doing. And they're terrific collaborators, choosing to partner and help lift up efforts that are being done by sister sporting worlds like the wives of the MLB and wives of the NBA. But Tenisha's also known, she knows the power of protecting and positioning your business through her consulting practice. And she helps leaders align legal clarity, business strategy, and brand vision so that their impact lasts. In our conversation, we talk about a lot. We really focus quite a bit on leadership, and it's about identity, not just titles, how Off the Field is changing the narrative of NFL wives from silent partners to visible change makers. They're getting a seat at the table. And what women entrepreneurs often overlook legally, and this is really near and dear to my heart, pay attention, and the strategic shifts that change everything. Finally, she shares a little bit about what her future vision is for Off the Field and the advice she would give her younger self about ambition, purpose, and legacy. Mainly, do not dim that light to accommodate others. Our conversation, it's about owning your story, multiplying your impact, and leading unapologetically, be it on the field, off the field, and far beyond. Let me know what you think. Stay to the end for KP's takeaways, and look forward to hearing your feedback. Let's go. Welcome, welcome, Women Advancing listeners. I'm doing something a little fun and a little different, where I'm going to go a little thematic. And for the next few episodes, I have the honor of speaking with women who are founders and CEOs in their own right, in addition to creating entities, efforts that support those coming up behind us, girls. And I'm really excited to introduce all of you to Tenisha Patterson Brown, who is a badass across so many different areas, but primarily she's the president of Off the Field NFL Wives Association. She's a founder and CEO, corporate counsel, legal and business consulting expert, and a brand strategist. So while she's making all that time, she's also law lady. So with that, Tenisha, welcome to Women Advancing.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
So There are so many different places we could start, but I am trying to teach myself to be just linear in this one part, which is tell us about your journey and how you kind of ended up where you are right now.
Well, my journey started in a very unique way, I should say. I went off to college thinking that I was going to be a doctor, got into baby bio, and realized very quickly that was not the path for me. Shifted my major to business management, but really had no idea of what I really wanted to do. I knew I wanted to be a boss. I knew I wanted to kind of guide people and lead people, but had no idea where I would go. Ended up falling into sports and loved, started off in recruiting and fell in love with the game, fell in love with the operations, all of the not so cutesy side of sports, and realized that I wanted to be more than just a number. I
Yeah.
wanted to make an impact. And then I also realized there was not a lot of women in sports or they were in very lower level positions. And so I took it upon myself to create my own lane, and law school led to creating the credential piece, I should say, and giving me more options. Thought I was going to be an agent, very quickly shifted that I was not going to be an agent, had no desire to be called in the middle of the night, but I still wanted to make an impact with athletes. And so that's where Definitive Sports was born. Worked with a lot of different athletes, then added in their spouses because I also realized that a lot of them were former collegiate athletes as well, who had
Right.
dreams, who were transitioning as well. The transition doesn't matter if you are a male or a female, if you're a high school athlete or collegiate athlete or pro, that transition still happens and they still try to figure out what they want to do off the field or off the court. And
Right.
so I started to take on the spouses and girlfriends and their dreams as well. And so it became a family affair, really, in helping them in their off the field and off the court endeavors.
That's so smart in so many different ways. I was just going to say the whole notion of a family tree. But Tanisha, you know what I want to ask you?
Hmm.
Oftentimes I find myself speaking to founders who are sitting there and more on like pure business side of things or in biotech, and there's so few females in that arena. What about this notion of law and being a legal eagle in the realm of sports? Are there many women that do that?
Honestly, now, yes. But
Oh,
when
good.
I started, I got into sports 20 years ago. I say that, and I'm like, man, I'm really aging myself.
No, no,
Uh, when I was in college
prodigy.
20 years ago, I mean, seriously, when I wanted to get into the game, I thought I could only get into the sport as an agent. Then I thought I could only get into the sport in marketing because that's where all the women were. They were in marketing, they were in student athlete services, things that weren't essentially the dominant positions that normally males dominate. And so what really triggered me was antitrust laws. The fact that the Big Four were exempt from regular laws. And I'm like, how do they do this? I was very intrigued. I was also intrigued by the fact that, I was all in on NIL before NIL was a thing. I really believe that players should get paid. I believed in revenue sharing and the concept of creating a union. And that was, I mean, honestly, way before NIL, the House case, any case really about NIL. And so for me, I love the legalities of things when it comes to sports, the nuances, the
Right.
exemptions, right? The fact that the major sports are considered to be exempt from so many different things. Oh, they're so special, right? And I am also falling in love with the whole narrative right now that's going on with NIL and transfer portal and all the things, right? Because it's challenging everyone legally. It's challenging their mind, as we call it in the legal world, wild, wild west of NIL. And so it's ever changing. And so for me, that's where I get so excited in sports because it's so different than a lot of different things. You have, tax law, trademark law, it's very, the same, but sports it's different every single day.
I was gonna say you kind of probably show up and you have no clue what's gonna
I have no clue. And then because it's state specific, right? And it's just you have some things that you try to implement nationally, and then you have things that you're trying to implement on a local level, and it's just wild. And that's why, I mean, it's everything is changing right now. And I think the things that are happening on a local level, the high school level, the collegiate level is going to ultimately impact the pros and have already.
And the thing that's also really great about this is the way, because it can go so many different directions and you don't
Mhm.
know, it keeps you so facile and
Yes.
right? I
Oh,
mean,
you have to be. You have to be. And you
ever
have I'm a
curious.
student. I'm a student. I always call myself if I have to say what is your title first, is I'm a student first. I love to learn, to engage and figure out things on my own, constantly studying my craft, even if I'm not practicing that particular area. Because you never know. So I had the best advice come from someone, a colleague of mine when I was in college, I asked them when I was volunteering. I say volunteering because you make no money when you work in collegiate sports. It was a measly, a very, very small salary. But one of my colleagues, I asked him, why am I having to sell these program books and work in sponsorship when I'm a marketing coordinator? That's my job. And he politely said to me, Tanisha, when you work in sports, you need to learn every single job because you never know when you will have to use it. Now, fast forward to 20 years later, president of Off the Field, and everything that I learned in sponsorship and sales, I am implementing those things now in my position. And I'm just like, man, that was just golden advice that someone gave me 20 years ago.
Isn't it funny how sometimes those things that seem so random in the past, all of a sudden they crop up and you're like, whoa, actually, when they're asking, does anyone know this? It's like, I do, in
I
fact.
do.
As a matter of fact, I do. Listeners, Tanisha leads this organization she's a president of Off the Field NFL Wives Association, but she's also running her own business and legal consulting practices she's just been sharing. Is there a difference or how do you define your leadership across those very different, but they're also really connected, right? One's
Mhm.
business, boom, 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 and one's nonprofit, more sort of purpose driven. They're
Mhm.
probably both purpose driven, but one's for profit, one's nonprofit. Is there like some kind of different hat that you put on when you lead those two?
Well, I will say one of the things that I learned in my position as a legal business and legal consultant is my primary client is a male athlete.
Ah,
And the difference with them is they're looking to be coached. They want to be coached. So I put on my coaching hat. When I talk to them in X's and O's, like, okay, this is the play that we're going to have to run. I'm going to give you the schematics of what we're going to do and you're going to execute. This is your position and this is how you execute this position. I don't need you to worry about all the other things. I'll put the people in place to make sure that we can run this game plan.
the other play
That's
on the
yes.
field.
So whether it is their accountant or the financial advisor or their wife or anyone else that they have, their business partner, I start off with a timeline and a game plan. So when I speak to them, the language is different. I'm talking to them as, okay, I'm coach. This
Yep.
is our game plan. This is how we're going to follow through. Because the biggest thing with a lot of people, and not just athletes, but definitely with athletes, they want to be coached, period. They don't want you to
It's
go
great.
in and expect them to you know, tell them, throw all this information at them, and then they figure it out. That's not what they're going to do. They don't have the capacity, especially if they're playing and even post career. They just don't, they're not trained for that. And so if you think about how long they've been in the processes of learning, it's always in a coach player situation. If they
Right.
can execute in a high level by being coached well, if I can coach you and teach you how to do all these things so that you're better off when before you started with me. That's
Right.
my win, right? I don't want to be the holder of all the details. I want to make sure that I'm coaching you and educating you so that you can go now and execute. And I don't ever worry about my job. I never worry about eliminating myself because there's always going to be the next person that I
Just
can
make
train and coach. So that's my approach with Definitive Sports Group and just being that legal business and legal consultant. And because I have so much business experience, that also gives me an opportunity to kind of help them see it from not just a legal perspective, to see it from a management perspective,
Right.
operations, logistics, HR. I have all of those levels of experience. And so I speak to them from my learned experience and lived experience, and then also from a legal perspective, risk management, as you should say, perspective.
Right, right.
When it comes to off the field, it is very much relationship driven, very much sisterhood driven, and operating in a space of empathy. I get it because I have this experience with you. I understand as a fellow NFL wife what your life is like. I know what you need because I'm a part of this community as well. And so,
Right.
therefore, empathizing with the needs of my members, but also pushing us forward and letting them know, hey, you can achieve and show everyone how much you have achieved. Right. And so
Right.
for me and my leadership perspective right now, and this is how I'm operating, is really letting people know that we are more than just what you see on TV. We are not a monolith. We are so much more. We're lawyers, we're doctors, we're authors, we're advocates, we're so much more, and entrepreneurs. And I want the world to see that.
That's the thing that I think we'll dig even deeper into that piece, is that there's just so many assumptions that are taking place. So we'll talk a little bit about some of the myth busting that we want to make
Hmm.
sure happens, and some of the amazing, to Tanisha's point, there are things that they're doing for girls and others too that is truly life altering and shifting. So it's super exciting. Whatever inspired you to step into the presidency role? And then how have you seen the organization evolve?
So I stumbled
That's
into the
always
presidency
the
role.
way, right?
I really did not think, and this is where the imposter syndrome comes in. And since I've settled into my 40, I am getting so much better about that because I'm such a high achiever. And so I've just been achieving. I've been just achieving all my life, and it's become a thing where this is what you do. You just achieve, and it's the normal. And so for me, I really thought that someone else was better for the job, to be honest. And then I realized that I was actually the person for the job. And so it has been such an amazing experience. The founders really saw something in me that I didn't see in myself because I wasn't the traditional president, right? Not a traditional NFL wife. When I say traditional, based off of what the perceptions are and what people assume. And when I stepped into this role, it really required me to step back from a lot of other things that I was pursuing
Mm,
because it is a full-time job. it's I'm in my philanthropic season. I
right.
always say that, but I have seen my organization grow so much and people look at us in such a different way. I've only been president for 11 months. I will be almost a year, October 1st. And we have launched our Road to LA 2028 campaign. We've launched 30 chapters in all of the
Wow.
NFL cities. But I mean, we are just really pushing forward as an organization and solidifying ourselves as the official premier site where you can come and have a safe space for our wives. Where our pillars are sisterhood, support, and service. And we really have taken that on and dove in to all of our NFL cities.
Which is awesome. Talk a little bit, because I'm imagining not every listener will even be familiar with Off the Field,
Okay.
NFL Wives Association. So share a little bit about it and talk a little bit about how you serve your members as well as the broader community.
Okay. So Off the Field is the official NFL Wives Association for current and former NFL players, wives, and significant others. So we serve there are 2,000 active players, 20,000 former players, and we serve all of the wives within that network. Even if you are divorced, we do not kick you out. You are still a part of our membership because we understand that the sisterhood is still there. Our biggest, like I said earlier, our pillars are sisterhood, service, and support. So we want to create, and we have created for almost 25 years, we've created a network of women where we are helping each other, whether you're transitioning from city to city, being traded, or you're transitioned out of the league, we help, or into the league. We assist with that, provide resources to our members. So and we have gatherings together where we do meetups. We obviously have our annual fashion show where we serve that NFL Super Bowl community. But the support element comes also from our OTF Cares that I also launched this year since being president. And OTF Cares is very similar to the NFL Player Care Foundation. And that is, we provide grant assistance, financial grant assistance to our members, because one thing that we do know is that if the guys do not engage and they do not apply for financial assistance, then the wives cannot do it on their own. And so we wanted to create a space for our wives who, whether you're getting a divorce or it's a medical emergency or having health issues, whatever it may be, or if you need education assistance, we want to provide that assistance to our community. We also provide scholarships to the children, to our families, to our families. So collegiate scholarships, and we match the scholarship with a child in the NFL city. So that's OTF Cares. We provide internships and externships as well. And then the service is us serving our community. We serve
Right.
our community, every NFL city we touch. And by the time we get to LA 2028, we will have impacted 10,000 children just in our Road to LA 2028 campaign.
Which is huge. And I know you're also aren't you doing some kind of flag football league?
Yeah, so that is a part of our Road to LA 2028. We have 4 sports in that. And so we took on this initiative and started off with water safety. We had an NFL family lose their child to drowning, 2-year-olds here in Tampa Bay. And we
Sorry.
made a decision that we were not going to let another child die on our watch from drowning. And so we started this initiative in Cincinnati, partnered with USA Swimming Foundation and American Heart Association. And we teach 150 to 200 kids how to swim. And then we leave back swim lessons, at least 6 swim lessons with the child. So we like to partner with schools so they can do it as a summer program. And American Heart Association also teaches them CPR as well, which is so important. And
Fantastic.
the second sport we started with girls and flag, obviously that was natural. We are
Yeah.
football
Of course.
wives. And so we launched, and plus we really wanted to, dive into a sport that didn't have a lot of barriers to play. And we also want so that it can be available to all girls, but also encourage them. This is an opportunity for them to get NIL deals, to go get college scholarships, to play in the Olympics, because it will be an
Yeah.
Olympic sport. And we really wanted to jump into that.
I didn't
Uh,
know that. It
It will be
is?
in the Olympics, yes. Flag football will be in the Olympics. And
That's wow.
yes, so the guys, NFL players will try out for the flag team, but the girls will qualify they will be selected from the Olympic trials. So that we are so excited for them because they're great. If you ever have opportunity to watch the girls play, they're amazing. The girls who play flag football. So our Girls and Flag initiative will touch all 30 cities, just like our water safety program. And we teach 150 girls the fundamentals of flag football. So we host a clinic. One of our wives leads the clinic, who actually is a coach as well, has her own team. And that program will we touch 150 kids in each city. And then we have softball, which will launch in San Francisco with the MLB wives. And then we have youth girls basketball, which our pilot location in Vegas at the Summer League in partnership with the National Basketball Wives Association.
Wow. My God. And yay on you. And I'm just going to say I love that you're collaborating with all the wives associations of all these different sports, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because by doing that, I bet everybody probably has similar frustrations with myths
Absolutely.
and just presumed, just either profiling and just so many assumptions. What are some of the myths that you want to dispel? I mean, do I have time? How long do we?
I think the biggest one is that we are all flying private jets and just wanting to just pretty much
Yeah, somebody
we're
can't we
reality
agree?
TV. Yes, like that's not who we are. And there may be some wives that are like that, and that's fine. But once again, the majority of our community, we are just regular people who have, our own dreams and hopes and vision. And a lot of us, including myself, understand the game and that the game is very short. And
Yeah.
because of that time, we do make sacrifices in our family to allow our husbands to live out their dream. But a lot of the wives are brilliant, and they have so much to offer and so much to do and have their own businesses and careers. My vice president, I always brag on her. She is a doctor at UNC, and she also works with the UNC football team. And
Yeah.
she's amazing. She's a mom as well. Supported her husband, former collegiate swimmer, as and I just people don't know that. They just assume that we're one thing.
Yeah, exactly. One level. And I can only imagine just what a relief it is for you to have each other and kind of
Absolutely.
other. And I'm also thinking about what it's like to sort of have to negotiate, and that's the only word I can think of. So one's husband, the career comes forth, and then how do you balance kind of that and making sure that you still get to have your own too? Or is it more sort of a timing thing, like you go first? It's one of those things we've all had different in relationships,
Mhm.
conversations like that. But each of you have had to do it. And each of you is on, to your point, so in and of your own right, incredibly accomplished.
Each family makes a decision, and
Yeah.
sometimes it looks different for each family.
Yeah.
Some wives, as the husband goes from place to place, the wives move with them. I did not. I stayed in Charlotte when my husband would go to different teams, just mainly because one, I was in law school. Two, I just didn't want to uplift my life and move around like that. And we worked well. We traveled back and forth. And sometimes it doesn't work that way, especially when you have kids. It's harder to not go, but it's also harder sometimes to go. And so it's very different. I will say that there's a mutual understanding among our community and just pro athlete wives in general is that it's a short time period, it's a sacrifice that you have to make for the greater good.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
a lot of them do jobs that you can do in any place or start businesses. And this is why so many of our wives are entrepreneurs because it's something that you can take with you wherever you go.
Wherever you go. Plug and
And
play.
yes, it's very convenient and it makes you creative. It makes you innovative, as well, because you're like, I have to balance all these things. I compare it to a military wife where you have it's a shorter time frame, obviously, and the sacrifice is different, but it's very much a sense of you are capturing that time by yourself. You're
Right.
very much by yourself because you understand the amount of focus that has to happen. You understand the amount of commitment because at the end of the day, your husband has worked for this well before you even became a part of his life,
Right.
before you were thought about in the
Right.
scheme of this dynamic. A lot of them were playing Pop Warner football, right, or baseball, or in the AAU basketball, and so for them, establishing a dream 20 years before they meet you, it's unreasonable for you to say, "Okay, no, you need to cut this off and do what I want you to do." So it's
Yes.
very much a sacrifice on our end to understand their end game and their goals and then work towards that as a unit.
Yeah, I'm sure. And then in the end, as they shift out, thanks to you and your ability of helping them, when they transition out,
Mhm.
everyone catches up, it
Oh,
seems.
yeah. It works out, and I think each family I've had families that have started well into the career. And usually what I've seen is players typically did not start thinking about post-game, post-career until
Right.
they were about to retire. So it's like 2 or 3 years out, I'm about to retire, I start thinking about it. But now on the new era of NIL, and you have rookies who are like, "Hey, I wanna buy franchises. I want to plan. I don't want to spend my game check. I want to get endorsement deals so that I can save this." When
Right.
back in the day, the only person, it's very few players that were actually doing that.
Right. Yeah. Which I think is actually
It's super smart. Super
because
smart.
you just never know if you're injured, what all the different things. But
Too
okay.
many variables. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right. So in all of your sort of strategic work with folks, I find oftentimes with zealous founders that they don't many actually underestimate the importance of legal
Oh
clarity
my gosh.
in business, and they think, "I don't need that, blah, blah," and it's either because they don't understand it, it's too hard. Talk a little bit about that and hammer it home, please, so that people know, protect yourself, damn it.
My colleagues and I would say my law school bestie, and I joke about this all the time because no one ever wants to pay lawyers. And we're literally the profession that you need the most. You can fire
Right.
everyone else, but you need us. You absolutely need us. And so I always tell my clients it's better to be proactive than reactive. It's going to save you a lot of money. Because if you are reactive, now you're responding obviously to anything that is out there. Your risk is higher because you
Yep.
haven't protected yourself. You've put your brand at jeopardy and your ability to continue or have your business thrive.
Yeah.
And what I've seen is I've had players come to me once their business has already been established and it's like, I need you to fix this. Or they've come to me before and in their mind, they have this preset notion of, I'm only going to spend X because I can have my cousin or I can have such and such do all of the things, right? And so I give them guidance and I say to them, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to fix it when the cousin messes it up. So I
Uh,
need you, I'm just full disclosure, because your Google legal Google, right, that you think you're doing is not, it doesn't include all the nuances that goes along with this and what the unique risks that align with you as a high profile athlete. And so I've had clients really put themselves in very sticky situations because they not because they wanted to. It was more so of, "Oh, it's not gonna happen. Oh, it's fine. It's not a big
d
deal.
but I'll be different. That
I'll be
whole
different. That was such and such," right? And I always say it's better to plan. I am a firm believer. I don't care who you're partnered with, always have a contract, partnership agreement. I don't
Yep.
care how much you love them. I don't care how long you've known them. My husband and I, we have partnership agreements. We have operating agreements with our businesses because when things come up, I want to make sure that things are not going to go crazy. No, we can refer back to these documents that we signed and made sure that we have this in place.
So many people, always I would say, "Oh my gosh, can't you trust the other person? It's offensive."
It's not
Um,
about a trust.
family. Right, yeah, or how unromantic it has nothing to do about that at all. It just actually keeps it so much cleaner.
Hmm.
It
Absolutely.
builds in such boundaries. So, thank you, because I'm always stunned by that. So many people, they're gonna be the exception to the
Well,
rule.
and I think it also goes to the thought process that somehow, some way, you are creating a premonition essentially of, oh, you're saying that there's going to be something wrong with the business. But it
Right.
actually makes you look more legit as a business if you do have this. And I say this a lot of times to husband and wife, best friends, if you're going and partner with other family members, it makes you look more legit if you actually put that person on payroll
Yeah.
and process payroll versus you giving them just money. It's better financially for you. It's better for your business if you're trying to go get funding. And I
Right.
always tell people don't use your own money. That's not smart.
Right, yeah, exactly.
And so for me, it's about the planning piece, being proactive, like jumping in, having all of these things in place so that there is, even if you're not there right now,
Yeah,
imagine, tell me where you wanna be, and then I'll tell you what you need based on where you wanna be.
right, exactly. And we can right, reverse engineer it
Mhm. Yes.
along the way. Well,
Yeah.
so for you, a lot of the women who are the members of the Wives Association and yourself obviously are juggling so much. Resilience is definitely a recurring theme
Absolutely.
in life and in your career. Are there practices or mindsets that you use that helps you kind of stay grounded or centered when, God, there's just so much going on and the pressure is high? Like, what keeps you? centered.
Therapy,
Yeah, no, true that.
therapy, and but very much perspective on why I'm doing certain things. I have to consistently remind myself of why I'm doing X, right? My motivations are understanding how much effort and time. I had a very close relationship with my grandmother. So understanding how much effort and time she poured into me and making sure that I achieved the dreams that I wanted to set out and things that she felt like if you just do this one thing differently every time and your mindset was different every time. If you thought about how can I be a good human being,
Right,
that sets the tone, right? For me. How can I be a better human being today?
right,
And then it's so in that process of me being a better human being, am I honoring the legacy of my grandmother and what I'm doing? But then also because of my daughter who I'm obsessed with and took me forever to get her, but she is my heart in human form. I always say that. She's my heart and whole soul in human form. How can I set the platform and the base and the foundation for her to give her the voice, the time and space, and the desire to want to be the best version of herself, but also be a girl's girl, to
right,
elevate those around you because I don't want to be the only person on a yacht. I want all my friends to be to have their own yachts too, right?
right,
And I
right,
say
right.
that because when I look at her, she models what I do. And I want to make sure that everything that I am doing is positive, and even if I fall short, I explain to her, "Mommy wasn't perfect today. I'm not gonna ever be perfect, but what I'm gonna be is 2% better every day."
Oh, that's
And
great.
so that to me, I learned that from Coach Andrews at Florida State. He always used to
Oh,
say, "I just want you to be 2% better every day." That's what he tells his players. And it's better than 1%, but it's attainable with 2%. So,
right. Exactly. It's a
yeah.
wee bit of a stretch, but what's your vision for off the field NFL Wives Association? And what do hope your legacy is? I can think of a few things, but
I would say I want to have off the field one sustainability.
yeah.
That's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah.
I've only been the fifth president in this 25 years
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, and one of the presidents she served for 12 years. So,
Whoa.
yes, they kept re-electing her. They loved her. She's great. She has really big shoes to fill, so I just will say that. She's fantastic. But I wanna have sustainability, but also for us as we go embark into the future to change the narrative of what it means to be a pro athlete's wife. The service, the sisterhood, the growth, the transformation, the empowerment, all of those things. Because I will say this as a woman in sports, I have a unique perspective of being both, right? Being on both
Yes.
sides of the coin. And there's very rarely a space for the wives. So you have
Yep.
this growth, this tremendous growth in women in sports. And very rarely do you see the access for the wives as well. I've been in rooms where I would lead with, "I'm a wife," and the conversation would go totally different than me leading with, "I'm a sports attorney."
Yes.
And for me, recognizing that and seeing that, it's like, well, you know what? I'm gonna do something about it. And so with off the field, I don't want people to think of us as just a fashion show, which is what for so long people thought. And Off the Field's been doing great work in the community for so long, but that's what people just assumed that we did because it's huge during Super Bowl. And we
Yep.
love that. That's a marquee event. But we have so much more in touching the
Yeah.
lives of our members, building that sisterhood. I want our chapters to thrive. I want
Yeah.
us to continue our programming, Girls in Flag well beyond LA 2028.
Yeah.
For us to create a team and be the official, sponsor of that team, that would make me happy as
Yeah.
well.
Because I would also think that as players, the next generations, as future generations of players and their spouses come on board, they would be less likely to be attracted to just the fashion show. They want to be
Absolutely.
driven too. In fact, they demand
Absolutely.
you just
Absolutely.
everything that they do. So, fantastic.
And
So
also, I will add elevating our NFL families.
yes,
That is, we focus so much on the players individually, we focus so much on the wives individually, but we forget about the connection. And so we want to elevate our families and make sure that they stay connected. But also, when it comes to celebrating their businesses, celebrating their nonprofits, like supporting each other,
yeah,
and also having a seat at the table. If I can have a seat, not just, and I'm saying off the field, the wives, if we can have a seat at the table in the conversations when they're talking about the lives of players and the lives of families, that to me is I will leave this world job well done. That
yeah,
is that is huge.
yeah. And I can imagine why. I mean, there's so many things that you all see
Mhm.
that the person who's in it where the athlete may be missing it, or you kind of get caught up. There's groupthink, there's all sorts of things. So it's really great to have that trusted person, your partner,
Mhm.
who can help you perhaps like walk into a situation with clear eyes. And to your
Absolutely.
earlier point, catch the nuances and go, ba, shoo, shoo."
Absolutely. And
And
because we see things. I mean, at the end of
yeah,
the day, we have the unique perspective of being
both.
behind the scenes and seeing all of the, how the impact of the game, right?
Yes.
I had been with my husband since he played in college. I've seen everything: college, draft, active play, retirement, full retirement. Cause it's like retirement, it's like pretend retirement and then real retirement.
Yes, exactly.
So I've seen all of that. And my husband also coached. So I've seen that perspective. And he was in
Ah,
scouting. So I've seen that perspective. So it's all of the nuances that go along with it. And I think it's important for us
yeah,
to have a seat at the table.
no, absolutely. Well, so in closing, knowing what you know now, what advice would you give your younger self?
Trust yourself and don't minimize yourself to accommodate others. If I could go back all over again and just,
Oh,
man, so many times
oh,
that I just didn't, I let someone persuade me that this wasn't the right thing for me, or I diminished who I was or just minimized myself, even if it was a small amount, to make someone feel comfortable because
mm,
they would say, you can't be all the things. You can't be attractive and smart and have a good personality. No, you have to be mean. Or you can't be and all these things. And yes, so no, I'm not gonna do that anymore.
yeah, and that's the thing. I think yeah, you do the world such a disservice if you dim your light, just so
Yeah.
somebody else feels better. There are so many. Oh, god, that one really resonates with me a lot at every age, especially if you're someone who has a bigger personality than some.
Mhm. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right. Right, and I'm also gonna say, but even, the quiet folks, there's always also over assumption that they have nothing to say, so
Yeah.
both sides of it. Oh my gosh, well, Tanisha, thank you so much on
Thank you.
this has been so insightful across, many different levels. And I really appreciate it, and I'm just so excited and glad, and I will also admit it, embarrassed that I had no knowledge of not only your sports association, but name a sport, and I'm just so glad that all the wives are, like, stepping up and saying, "Okay, we want a seat at the table, so we're gonna frankly make our own table,
Absolutely.
then it's gonna be bigger, and then you guys can maybe come in ours."
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Thank you so, so
Thank
much. I
you.
look forward to seeing what ends up happening with, so many of these amazing things that you're building out. So
Thank
thanks
you.
of everybody for all that you're doing too.
Thank you. And for your support, I appreciate it. I thank you for your time today. And I can't wait to get out there and people to see all the great things that we're doing.
My pleasure. My pleasure. All right. Until next time.
Thank you.
I don't know about you, but I thought that was pretty cool. And what I think is even cooler is this whole notion that all of these professional sports, the wives, partners, spouses behind the players are wanting a seat at the table. And if they don't exist, the tables don't exist, they're making them their own. And they're really having an impact on future generations to come. So, in addition to that, that's just such one piece of what Tanisha is actually doing. She's got her incredible legal career and brand consulting career. So it's just proof to yourself, and she's a mom. So I'm just saying, it's so heartening to see just how multifaceted all of us are, and we're doing amazing things with these big lives that we're having, as Mary Oliver would say. So, KB takeaways. Here are like my top 5, to be honest with you. One, when Tanisha was talking a bit about this whole notion that the players like to be coached, and then essentially setting up any situation into a game plan and really translating it into language that they deal with every day on the field. Duh. So speaking a language that your customer understands, your audience understands. No brainer, but so many of us don't do it. Important to do that. Always better to be proactive than reactive. If you see something and you get that in your gut, take a look at it and make a move accordingly. The notion of, yeah, we all like to play big, but if you could even just be 2% better every day, that's achievable and it'll continue. You'll want to continue to keep trying to accomplish that notion of being 2% better every day. And then lastly, to me, don't minimize yourself to accommodate others. It's so much easier said than done. And I think we've all been taught, whether intentionally or not, to do it since we were teeny weeny. So now's the time to step up, sit tall, take space. And you literally, I said it in our conversation, I'll say it again now. You do the world such a disservice when you dim your own light. So let it shine. Let it shine. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. Can't wait to continue it with more on Women Advancing.
Thanks for listening. May this episode inspire you to move forward. Be sure to go to iTunes, Spotify, katebyrne.co, that's KATEBYRNE.co, or wherever you listen to your podcasts, and listen to even more episodes. Here's to strong women. May we know them, may we be them, may we raise them. And be sure to meet them on the next Women Advancing. Ta till next time.